So picture this, you walk into a meeting room and there's just this massive pile of adapters sitting in the middle of the conference table.
Right, the classic dongle disaster.
Exactly. You're trying to figure out how to connect your laptop to the main screen, and well, it's just a complete mess. But today we're doing a deep dive into something that might actually solve that once and for all.
Yeah, the Kramer SID-X1.
Right, the Kramer SID-X1 twisted pair transmitter and step-in module. It's a bit of a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but practically speaking, it's basically the traffic commander for your video and audio signals.
So let's break down this Swiss Army knife of inputs first, because looking at the ports, it's quite unusual.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your standard HDMI and DisplayPort, which you'd expect on any modern desk.
Sure.
But it also handles legacy analog signals. It's got UXGA on a 15-pin HD connector, and even DVI.
But the DVI isn't that standard blocky port we're used to seeing, is it?
No, it uses a Molex 24-pin connector.
Oh.
And it handles unbalanced stereo audio, too, through a standard 3.5mm mini jack.
Which seems like a bit of a hassle for the installer, right? Because you'd need a breakout.
You need a breakout cable, yeah. But the trade-off is it saves a massive amount of physical space on the unit itself.
Oh, I see. So they can just cram all those formats into one tiny box.
Exactly. It acts as this universal translator for literally whatever laptop someone drops on the table.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the feature that actually gives the device its name, the step-in button.
Right. This is the real aha moment of the whole setup.
Because normally if you have 3 people plugged in and you want to switch screens, you're
hunting for a remote or calling IT.
Right.
It stops that whole awkward, can you switch inputs dance? The SID-X1 puts a physical button right at your fingertips. You press it, and it commands the main switcher to route your specific source to the main display.
It's such a simple concept, but physically giving that control directly to the user completely changes the room dynamic.
It really does. And for the system integrators out there, it also supports contact closure.
Meaning they can tie it into a broader control system.
Yeah, like a touch panel if they want to get a bit more sophisticated with the room's remote control integration.
Okay, so the step-in button solves the chaos for the user at the table. But the real magic for the installer trying to get that signal 50 feet across the room to a projector is on the back right.
The twisted pair output, yes. This is where Kramer's DGCAT technology comes into play.
Because HDMI signals degrade pretty fast over long distances.
They're incredibly fragile over distance. You can't just run a standard HDMI cable across a huge hall without losing quality.
Right, DGCAT. So how exactly does that work under the hood?
It takes all those complex video signals, the TMDS, the control data communication, and converts them to run over simple twisted pair cable. It outputs via a standard RJ45 connector.
So you're just leveraging standard C cable infrastructure.
Exactly. No pulling thick, expensive HDMI cables through the conduit.
And it still maintains the quality.
Absolutely. It supports a maximum resolution of WXGA. It's HDTV compatible and fully HDCP compliant.
So you completely avoid those terrible copyright blackouts during a big presentation.
Yes.
That's huge. And physically, we're talking about a really compact unit here. The sources say it's 4.7 by 2.76 inches and less than an inch thick.
Yeah, it weighs just 0.66 pounds and runs on a standard 12-volt DC power supply. You can easily mount it right under the table.
So let's talk price, because it's listed at around $428 discounted. Does that feel steep for a converter?
Well, if you only look at it as a simple converter, maybe. But you have to view it as a workflow enhancer.
Right, because it's replacing a lot of other gear.
Exactly. Multiple dongles, a local switcher, those long, expensive HDMI cable runs. At that point, $428 for professional-grade equipment that centralizes control is actually a great value.
It really is a powerful bridge between legacy analog and modern digital setups. But seeing how much work this little box has to do to translate all these different formats, it kind of makes you think about the future.
It definitely does.
Like, what is the next universal cable standard actually going to look like?
Right. Will we eventually reach a point where a device like this is completely obsolete because we finally settle on one single way to transmit data?
Or will the whole dongle dance just keep evolving into new, more complicated shapes?
That is the real question.
Definitely something for you to consider the next time you're sitting down and setting up for a big meeting. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.